Well, this is Chris Goldthorpe with ChrisChess.com for the final segment on this King and Queen versus King and Rook. It bears mentioning that you're going to need to practice this a lot, even after you watch all of my videos and all of some of the other videos about this. Then you're not going to need to practice it in a book. John Nunn's Secrets of Pawnless Endings has some information that's pretty helpful for those who just insist on wasting the time to learn this endgame that never comes up. So without further ado, as this is the fourth and final segment, we're going to look at some complete situations of King and Queen versus King and the Rook, where the Queen did eventually win. So let's do that. And here is black in check, and white does need to get the king and queen closer to it, and we have temporarily what would look like a second rank defense, and it's working out like a fifth rank defense temporarily. This is a position that we like to get. If the rook comes over to check, we can go here, and we're really threatening to win the rook. So it kind of forces the rook to separate. And it's on the same color. A human shouldn't do that. Computers can do that. We're going to attack it. And then notice we've got this situation where the queen diagonally guards a square where when the king comes up, it'll be between the kings. Okay. Now there's a big danger of winning the rook, like if the king is on the c file and the queen is here. We don't want to give the rook an opportunity to move. And of course, after we win the rook, it's all pretty easy. Not going to spend any time on that. Let's take a look at the next game. Here, this one starts with white in check. So again, as is typical of all endgames, we want to start bringing our king closer to his king if we're the ones winning. Here's a square between the kings. White would like to eventually be guarding that along a diagonal. That's all that move is about. It also prevents the check here. And he naturally wants to stay close to his rook, and there we have it. The kings facing each other with the queen diagonally controlling the square between them. And once again, making progress with the king getting closer to the end. And once again. So now the rook separates. Almost every time you see the rook separate, you should find a way to win the rook, and it's not too difficult here. And once we win the rook, as before, I'm going to take it that you already know how to win with a king and a queen against a king, and so we won't spend time on that. So as this is video, you can go back and look at those several times. I'm also going to have a link at the end of this video to someone else's videos on this subject. Thank goodness somebody besides me is making videos on this, because it's extremely time consuming to do the research and train yourself to be able to do it. So hopefully those of you who feel compelled to learn this endgame despite its impractical applicability, feel free. Good luck in your chess, and I hope you can break out of this obsession long enough to learn things that will actually help you to win.